the cameras flashed, the crowd just froze. For nearly 2 decades, they were it. You know, the impossible ideal. That perfect bridge between Nashville heart and pure Hollywood shine.
They really were the forever couple in so many people's eyes.
And then just like that, the fairy tale didn't just end. It completely shattered.
And the moment Nicole Kidman filed those divorce papers, what came next wasn't just sadness or shock. It was really the first shot fired in this incredibly sophisticated PR war, a battle for narrative control.
Yeah, who gets to be the victim, who's pulling the strings behind the scenes, and how on earth did one tiny little lyric change on a concert stage blow up into this massive digital mess?
That's exactly what we're diving into.
Welcome to the deep dive.
We're digging into all the source material you shared with us, trying to piece together the strategies, the motives, what really drove the Urban Kidman split.
Yeah, this isn't just celebrity gossip, is it? It's like a masterclass in modern crisis management. You've got a perfectly timed TV confession.
One lyric turned into a weapon.
And then these 3 totally different ways of handling the media colliding. You know, the old Hollywood playbook, this newer authenticity era thing, and then the whole creator economy angle.
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
And we really need to start with Keith Urban's first big move, let's call it. The tortured artist goes public. Because the timing, wow, was surgical. It set the whole initial narrative.
Okay, let's look at that timeline because it's pretty revealing. Kidman files, September 30th, 2025. Cites irreconcilable differences.
Standard language, but the news explodes.
Right, immediate chaos. And then, less than 3 weeks later, October 19th, Urban's new TV show, The Road, premieres on CBS Paramount.
That proximity, it's just hard to ignore.
You have to ask, right? Is that just incredibly fortunate timing? Or is this some very calculated PR happening?
Well, based on what we're seeing in the sources, it feels highly unlikely it was just a coincidence.
Right.
The show was literally designed to give viewers this exclusive access behind the scenes of the music world. And crucially, that gave Urban the perfect, already produced platform to frame his story his way, before the tabloids could really sink their teeth in.
You grab the reins.
He absolutely controlled the frame right from the start.
And the frame he painted was, well, in intense anguish. He talked about touring, the life he said he was born to do, and described it as completely lonely and miserable and sick. He tells this story about waking up alone at 3:30 a.m. on a tour bus, feeling terrible, missing his family.
He's painting this vivid picture, isn't he? A man consumed, almost tormented by his calling.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, that statement wasn't some off-the-cuff remark. It was a carefully produced segment, a really strategic act of public vulnerability.
Calculated.
Very. He's immediately setting himself up as this tragic archetype, the dedicated artist whose commitment to his craft, to his muse, ultimately cost him his family life.
It's a classic narrative.
It masterfully creates this paradox.
Yeah.
He's driven by something bigger than himself, this calling. But it also destroys his personal happiness. It shifts the focus away from, say, marital problems and towards this sort of existential sacrifice.
It's powerful, that idea of, I had no choice, the music made me do it. It definitely makes him seem more relatable, pitiable, maybe, instead of just responsible for a marriage ending.
Precisely. But, and this is the big but, this very compelling emotional story hits a major factual snag.
Uh-oh.
The legal agreement. The marital dissolution agreement signed by both of them. It granted Nicole Kidman primary residential parent status. That's 306 days a year.
306. Okay, so what did that leave Urban with?
59 days. Just 59 days of visitation with their 2 teenage daughters.
Wait, only 59 days? That's,
Okay.
wow. For someone publicly talking about deep loneliness and missing his family, that's a huge gap.
It is. It's staggering.
So if the thing making you miserable is being away from your family, why agree legally to an arrangement that basically guarantees you'll be away from them for, 84% of the year?
And that really throws the core question of priorities into sharp relief, doesn't it? That 59-day number strongly suggests that the relentless grind of his professional life touring, the industry demands, the very thing he said was making him miserable, that structure still dictates his reality.
So even in the divorce agreement, the career comes first, practically speaking.
It appears that way. The legal reality makes that simple tortured artist narrative he presented on TV feel, well, a lot more complicated.
Yeah, the difference between the emotional performance on screen and the cold, hard facts in the legal document. It's jarring. It makes you, as the public, start to look a bit closer, look for the cracks.
And those cracks started appearing pretty quickly. If you're finding these layers of Hollywood strategy as fascinating as we are, definitely hit that subscribe button for the deep dive. We are really just scratching the surface here.
Okay, so the custody arrangement definitely complicates his initial tortured artist defense. But let's pivot to the incident that really threw gasoline on the fire, publicly anyway. But first, we need to touch on the conflicting stories about who actually ended it.
Right, because that was contested too. Sources close to Urban were saying he initiated this split, moved out into a separate place in Nashville early summer. They framed it as him needing professional clarity, that the split felt inevitable.
Okay, his camp says he ended it, but then sources apparently close to Kidman were pushing back hard, saying she didn't want this, that she was actively fighting to save the marriage.
Exactly. So right away, you have this tension over who was the driving force behind the separation. It adds this layer of emotional complexity that, the court papers just don't capture.
And into that mix, you throw in these reports this other highly flammable element, that Urban was supposedly really unhappy with Kidman's work choices, specifically her more racy roles.
Yeah, the focal point seemed to be that erotic thriller Baby Girl.
I remember the buzz around that. Kidman had made comments about being so turned on during certain scenes with her co-star, Harris Dickinson, who's much younger.
And the sources pointed out that Urban apparently shut down a radio interview when he was asked directly about those scenes, just ended it abruptly.
Okay, but connect that to the bigger picture for us.
Well, it really highlights a pretty significant gender double standard, doesn't it? Kidman gets heat. It's framed as maybe even a marital issue because of the artistic choices she makes for a role-playing, a character exploring sexuality.
While Urban.
Meanwhile, Urban's whole job, his entire stage persona, involves singing songs about romance, desire, attraction, sensuality. And as we'll see, his actions included a very public, very real-world lyrical flirtation. One is judged for fictional portrayal, the other's real actions are sort of accepted as part of the performance.
Yeah, that doesn't seem quite fair. And that real-world flirtation, that's the moment. The weaponized lyric incident, that's what turned a private split into a massive public spectacle. Let's break that down.
Okay, the song, The Fighter. It's his 2016 duet. He publicly said it was inspired by early talks with Kidman, basically written as a vow to her to protect her.
It was like their song, a symbol of the marriage, played constantly.
Right, a musical monument to their relationship. And then, during a performance on his High and Alive tour, he changes the core promise of the song.
On stage, live.
Live. Instead of the known lyric, when they're trying to get to you, baby, I'll be the fighter, he looks directly at his 25-year-old utility player, Maggie Baugh.
Who plays multiple instruments, right? Fiddle, guitar.
Exactly. And he sings, Maggie, I'll be your guitar player.
Wow. That's not subtle. That's taking a song explicitly about his wife and twisting it into a flirty line aimed at someone else in public.
It's a stunning move. And maybe it would have just been gossip, an anecdote whispered among fans who were there. But Maggie Baugh herself took it viral.
She filmed it.
She got it on video and then posted that clip to her own Instagram. And the caption she used, did you just see that it?
Yeah.
With the wide eyes emoji.
Huh. Oh, she knew exactly what she was doing. That's pouring fuel on the fire, turning a fleeting stage moment into, permanent digital proof.
It was deliberate amplification. And the timing couldn't have been worse, with the divorce news breaking just days later.
So the fan reaction must have been instant.
Oh, immediate and ferocious. Fans instantly labeled Baugh the homewrecker. She became the focal point, the alleged reason for the split.
And the tour, what happened there?
Immediate consequences. The Fighter. That symbolic song was yanked from Urban's set list, just gone, and Maggie Baugh. She conspicuously vanished for the rest of the tour lineup.
So she's off the tour, the song's gone, but she didn't just disappear, did she?
Not at all.
Yeah.
In fact, she used that very controversy in a way that is just textbook modern creator economy.
Yeah.
Her pivot here really shows the clash between the old ways and the new media landscape.
Okay, that pivot is key, because this is where those three different PR strategies really slam into each other, right? It's crisis management 101, old Hollywood style versus the creator economy playbook.
Perfectly put. Maggie Baugh's move was pure modern media savvy. She went silent initially, let the storm rage online, let the speculation build.
Building the buzz, even negative buzz.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then she used that massive spotlight, all eyes on her, not to issue denials or apologies, but to pivot. She announced her new single.
Seriously, right in the middle of all that.
Yep. A song called The Devil Win, dropping October 10th. And the lyrics she teased, all about temptation, struggle, themes that played directly into the narrative everyone was already talking about.
That is bold, using the scandal itself as free marketing for her music.
It was a calculated risk, absolutely. But she saw the intense media attention, even the negative kind, as this incredibly rare commercial window.
Right. She didn't try to control the damage in the traditional sense.
No, her strategy wasn't damage control, it was monetization. She hijacked the narrative energy swirling around the Urban-Kidman divorce and channeled it straight into promoting her own career, her own brand. That's the creator economy thinking right there.
Okay, so that's strategy number one. Monetize the controversy. Now, compare that to Keith Urban's approach. You called it the authenticity era strategy.
Yeah, his approach felt much more reactive and chaotic. His stage became this public confessional, but the mood swung wildly.
We saw the vulnerability, like in that TV interview.
Right, proactive vulnerability, but then also real, fiery anger. Performing his breakup anthem, "You'll Think of Me," and apparently shouting an expletive at the crowd during it.
Whoa.
But then, just as quickly, he'd shift into what felt like calculated nostalgia. He drops the fighter. Okay, but then during another song, "Heart Like a Hometown," he adds this slideshow of photos featuring Nicole Kidman and their daughters.
Anger one night, sentimental photos the next. That's
Yeah.
confusing.
It felt like he was workshopping his grief in public, trying to perform authenticity, which is crucial for his country music brand. That whole image is built on emotional honesty. But the whiplash, the contradictions, it kind of revealed the performance aspect of it. It seemed like someone struggling to manage complex private feelings under this intense public microscope. The result was just inconsistent.
Okay, so that's strategy two. Chaotic public authenticity. Which leaves us with strategy three. Nicole Kidman, the old Hollywood approach.
And hers was a masterclass in classic A-list control. Her entire strategy seemed built around dignified public silence, especially on the messy details.
Very different from Urban's onstage emotions or Baugh's Instagram pivot.
Completely. Her first appearance after the filing, meticulously managed. She was photographed hiking near Nashville, not looking distraught or alone, but resilient, hiking with her sister, Antonia, projecting quiet strength, stability.
And any statements she made.
Filtered, controlled, vague reflections about surviving pain, feeling broken, but never naming Urban, never addressing the song lyric incident, none of the specifics.
It's that traditional method, isn't it? Preserve the mystique. Stay above the drama.
Exactly. It positioned her above the fray, reinforcing her status as this untouchable A-lister, far removed from the stage tantrums and the social media storms. She offered this narrative of quiet strength, which really played into her established public image.
So you have these three totally different ways of handling the same crisis playing out in real time. High control, chaotic honesty, and opportunistic monetization. No wonder the public got obsessed.
Oh, absolutely. The public basically became amateur detectives overnight, engaging in what you could call breakup forensics.
Yeah, the fan deep dives were incredible. People were analyzing everything, old red carpet photos, trying to read their body language from years ago, even dissecting Keith Urban's chunky platform boots.
Right, with theories that they symbolize some kind of height insecurity or imbalance in the relationship.
And looking back at their very last public appearance together, at a FIFA match back in June 2025, trying to find clues in how they interacted, it was intense.
But why do people care so much about platform boots or a glance at a soccer game?
Yeah.
I think it's because their relationship wasn't just a marriage, it was a powerful cultural story. They represented that forever couple dream.
Yeah, people felt invested.
Deeply invested. So when it collapsed, there was this public need to solve the mystery, to find the real story beneath the competing narratives being pushed by the different camps. It just shows, doesn't it? That line between the private self and the public performance for celebrities today, it's basically gone, non-existent.
So to wrap it up, the way this marriage dissolved really puts a spotlight on how central the battle for narrative control is in modern celebrity culture. The strategies we saw were almost like snapshots from different eras, all colliding at once.
You had Kidman with that old Hollywood, highly controlled silence.
No.
Urban embodying this more modern but messy authenticity era performance. And then Maggie Baugh demonstrating the purely transactional, opportunistic approach to the creator economy.
Three distinct playbooks.
And I think the ultimate takeaway is just how blurred that line has become. The personal loss itself became completely tangled up with the public performance. Every single move, a legal filing, a changed lyric, an Instagram post, it all became content deployed strategically in this fight.
It makes you think about that quote from Urban himself. His lament that he was born to do the very thing, touring, performing, that made him miserable. In a way, the sources suggest that became tragically true, didn't it?
How so?
Well, for the man seemingly born for the stage, his deepest personal suffering ultimately couldn't be separated from his show. It all merged. There was just no clear boundary left between his real life and the performance.
A sobering thought.
You've been listening to The Deep Dive, where we uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.